So if you mention entrepreneurship a lot. I'm cutting you off इसमें because I know कि गुंजाइश नहीं रही है. And often हम क्या करते हैं कि हम कहते हैं कि नहीं, हम सियासतदानों पे छोड़ देते हैं यार, वो अपना मुल्क ठीक करें और सही लोग आएँ और करप्शन बंद हो, ये वो सब. I say forget all of that. ठीक है, मैं कहता हूँ जो होगा वो होगा, whatever. I'm a believer कि entrepreneurship can change the destiny of a country.
Yep.
How do you see entrepreneurship change the destiny of Pakistan?
देखो, entrepreneurship क्या करेगी? Will bring in new ideas. Right?
ठीक है.
Whenever you come in with a new idea, that create multiple industries with it, right?
But उन industries को support तो चाहिए.
ठीक है, उसको support के लिए employment create होती है, economy बेहतर होती है, and anybody, when you talk about entrepreneur, or आजकल when you talk about young entrepreneur, I don't think they will have that mindset that was there a few years back, like कि टैक्स नहीं देना या वो नहीं करना. सो मुझे नहीं लगता कि वो होगा. सो अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स कैन बी फिक्स्ड विद हैविंग मोर एंटरप्रेन्योर्स. एंड आई मीन एंड बिकॉज मैंने देखा, अपने साथ होते हुए देखा, राइट, कि एक खादी स्टार्टेड 25 years ago. देयर वाज zero organized retail at that time, right? Or look at the industry size now. We were one of the pioneers at that time. We started with an idea. We saw the gap. We started with an idea. It was not something that I invented. It was everybody else. I saw it happening everywhere, not in Pakistan. I saw that gap and I started. And look at what's happened. उसके पीछे क्या हुआ? Malls बने. उसके पीछे कितनी workforce पाकिस्तान में add हुई, कितनी support हुई from localization, documentation हुई from unorganized to organized. So all of this started happening, right? Digital marketing companies, advertisement होनी शुरू हुई. Look at the multiple industries that got associated with just one thing. And this could be everywhere. अगर हम agri की बात करें, आज अगर कोई agri का भी brand बनाता है, तो I think multiple industries को support हो जाएगी इसके साथ.
लेकिन इसमें एक जो सबसे बड़ी requirement है ना for entrepreneurs to scale is financing.
Yeah.
ठीक है. आई मीन दुनिया में where we see this whole startup जो boom आया है, tech boom जो आया है पूरा, is because there were people willing to take risks on highly risky investments, small risks in the form of angel investments, then VC investments, and then potential IPOs and so on, right? Do we see that level of financing available in Pakistan? We don't see it. वो हर बैंक से आप लोन कहेंगे, पहले आप एक घर प्लेज करें, ज़मीन प्लेज करें. अगर मेरे पास ज़मीन या घर होता प्लेज करने के लिए, तो मैं उसको बेच नहीं देता अपने बिजनेस में डालने के लिए. तो ये फाइनेंसिंग यहाँ पे कहाँ से आएगी?
So मैं 1998 में सोचता 2023 की मेरी फाइनेंसिंग कैसे होगी, मैं तो कभी शुरू नहीं करता. Right? So
you'll have to wait 22 years, 25 years.
ठीक है ना, but उस टाइम का था ना. But if you always start small. Entrepreneur always start small and then you build up, right? चीजें निकल आती हैं, solutions निकल आते हैं. Once you clear on your direction, and I always tell this to everybody, any entrepreneur who asks me, I always say this: for an entrepreneur, it's very important, and I still do that. मुझसे नहीं होती 2 साल की planning. मुझसे अभी भी मेरा mindset में everybody says कि let's do a 3 or 4 year plan. I will sit in that meeting and look at it, but in my mind I will say, okay, yaar, let's focus on the next 4 months. Let's focus on the next 3 months. Let's deliver this.
So an entrepreneur cannot make a 3-year plan.
Absolutely not, boss. नहीं कर सकता.
So when you started in 98, you did not.
I had a 3-day plan. यार ये पैसे खत्म हो जाएंगे तो उसके बाद क्या होगा? So.
ये कॉर्पोरेटाइजेशन में बहुत बड़ा फ़र्क है. कॉर्पोरेट्स में, आई मीन आई हैव स्पेंट टाइम इन कॉर्पोरेट. मैं जनरल मोटर्स में 4 साल काम किया था. आई रिमेंबर हमारे प्लान्स बनते थे, 3-year plan, 5-year plan, 1-year plan. मतलब फॉलो कोई नहीं करता था ये प्लान, बल्कि फोरकास्टिंग होती थी. फोरकास्टिंग भी ऐसी, फर्स्ट टाइम आई सैट इन अ सेल्स फोरकास्ट फॉर कार्स, आई थॉट देयर वाज अ साइंस बिहाइंड इट, राइट. आई थॉट पता नहीं कौन से मॉडल्स निकल के आएंगे, क्या होगा, वेदर प्रिडिक्टेबिलिटी होगी, हॉलीडेज की होगी. एंड आई सॉ 6 लोग एक कमरे में बैठे थे, लाइक लास्ट मंथ क्या सेल थी, पिछले साल क्या सेल थी, okay, it'll be about this much. And all what's happening, guys, it literally took 5 minutes. We spent the rest of the hour in the meeting shooting the shit, and that was forecasting. I said, what is this corporate business, yaar? So to me, ये जो the modeling, the corporatization के अंदर ये भी challenges हैं कि you're trying to waste time doing stuff that really is not needed.
So Faizan, let me tell you my view on this. So मेरा थोड़ा सा इस पे there's a difference of opinion. So again, an entrepreneur started off with a minimum capital, like, कुछ नहीं पता था क्या था. I mean, I never thought I'll go into retail, right? I always used to, like, कपड़ा बनाता था, जाके बेच देता था. कोई खरीदता नहीं था मुझसे कपड़ा. जब किसी ने कपड़ा मेरा नहीं खरीदा, मैंने कहा अपनी शॉप बना के खुद ही बेच देता हूँ. टेक्सटाइल डिजाइनर यार. My own passion was about making handloom fabric. So anyway, so हमेशा just took up this, पूरा ये उस टाइम पे बड़ी बड़ी कॉर्पोरेट्स थी, आज भी हैं, like, there was Unilever and P&G. This was all, when I was starting up, they were all the companies, and I used to say, yaar, wow, yaar. And you talk to anybody at that time, the dream was to work for Unilever,
True.
P&G, and this was like, in the early 2000s.
अभी भी ऐसे ही है, काफी हद तक.
Which is great. I mean, there's so much. I mean, there's a great what they've done for the country, and and so much talent they've produced, and fantastic, phenomenal companies we have in Pakistan. हमेशा मेरा था यार, मैं भी एक दिन ये करूँगा. तो 2016 में जब पूरा कॉर्पोरेटाइजेशन किया था, तो उस टाइम पे पूरा एक one of the ambition was this. I used to have an office inside. I'm going to have an office in the main city, my own building, blah 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 blah. All ambition. The
full shashka.
So we moved to our Dolmen office 5 days before the lockdown.
Wow.
I sat in my office on Monday morning, and the first meeting I had, I called my entire leadership and I said, guys, it's Mayday. We're going to crash and everything's going to shut down. First day, I mean, Dolmen office, 60,000 square feet.
Wow.
हम 300-350 लोग थे. So that office में 800 लोगों का office था. And the first day I walked into that office and kind of knew that this week the entire world is going to shut down.
Right.
So anyway, so this was my beginning of it. But during COVID, मैं थोड़ा सा मेरा disagreement हो गया on this whole. So when I talk about that few incidents that sort of changed my life, that sort of pushed me back into that entrepreneurship mode, was one of this, I think, COVID. To me, if you talk about COVID में जो पूरा lockdown था, which is very very important to do at that time, it can be multiple now, कि सही था, गलत था, जो भी था. But in 2021, I started realizing, कैसा lockdown है यार? Half of the world is shut, but half of the world was open. Some people were sort of downsizing, some people were hiring, right? Where some of the retail companies globally were sort of downsizing, the last mile was hiring, right? The e-commerce companies were hiring. कौन सी फैक्ट्री बंद हुई पाकिस्तान में कोविड में? कोई भी बंद नहीं हुई, right?
फूड पैंडा के डिलीवरी राइडर्स तो बंद नहीं थे.
कुछ भी बंद नहीं था.
वो तो ऑफिस जा रहे थे रोज. कुछ
था वहाँ पे, ठीक है. बट सुबह में जो मुझे ये भी ख्याल आया कि यार कोविड सिर्फ जो लोग एसी में सोते हैं उनको तो नहीं होता सिर्फ. मुझे तो सिर्फ थोड़ा ये हुआ, लेकिन बिकॉज द जनरल पीपल हु आर वर्किंग, राइट? I started gaining so much respect for all of this, right? So is the corporate offices and the corporate blocks which were shut, working from home, some of the businesses were booming in COVID. Some कुछ businesses को, हमारे से businesses को मसला हुआ COVID में. कुछ businesses के लिए बहुत अच्छा था.
Online businesses thrived,
ठीक है ना? मगर उनके जो workforce थी वो काम कर रही थी, और जो पीछे back office था जिसका उस वक्त वो कोई जरूरत भी शायद मुझे नहीं पता कितनी थी उस टाइम के ऊपर, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग वाज सेलिंग, एवरीथिंग, दे वर ऑल वर्किंग फ्रॉम होम, राइट? सो ये क्या हुआ? सो जब कोविड के बाद खुलना शुरू हुआ, तो सेम कॉन्वर्सेशन वी स्टार्टेड हैपनिंग इन आवर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, राइट? वी स्टार्टेड टॉकिंग अबाउट 50% कैपेसिटी, ऑल ऑफ दिस. आई सेड यार, वी जस्ट मूव्ड इनटू अ 60,000 स्क्वायर फीट ऑफिस. 350 लोग हैं हम लोग, ठीक है? ये ऑफिस में 600-700 लोग फिट आ सकते हैं. Simple maths, one person is about 300 square feet to himself. And you're saying go to 50%? We talked about office capacity 50%. 50% of what? Why didn't we define that? Okay, नहीं यार कि एक रूम में इतने लोग नहीं हो सकते. All of these things. So, and a lot of people sort of, जबरदस्त यार, 3 दिन घर से छुट्टी काम करने की मिल गई. Then I said, listen, so if you're going to shut down, if you're going to go to 50% capacity, so we were going to shut down our store. And there was a time that, कराची में e-commerce बंद था, 1.5 महीने बाद stores खुल रहे थे. Right. There was zero cash, almost zero cash flow for about month and a half. Right?
Yeah, the April 2020, I remember.
It was literally and अब आप खुल रहे हैं. And I said, ये तो नहीं हो सकता. So basically I called my team and I said, यार क्या मैं क्या किसी को face करूँगा अपनी shop पे जाके, when I will say, यार, I'm too scared to come to the office बिकॉज मुझे कोविड हो जाएगा या मुझे कुछ हो जाएगा या आप नहीं आ सकते या आप नहीं आ सकते. बट स्टोर्स को कह रहे हैं यार तुम जरा डबल एफर्ट करना ताकि सैलरीज दे दें हम जो है ना. So on average, a store person had to make sure that they interact with 100 people, right, a day for the cash flow to keep running. But we will sit at home. So that was to me was a complete no. You know, that changed everything for me. कि ये कैसे हो सकता है यार, ये कहाँ से हुआ? So when it was this, why was everybody, if the factories were working, if the plants were running, if the sales force were working, why didn't they come out and say no, our teams are working, we will work as well? And that's what I think, that sort of changed everything for me.